Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're talking about some more emergency backup cooking options. We're looking at the Coleman 2-burner classic gas camp stove, and I'm going to tell you why I think this one is a real winner when we come back. All right, folks, welcome back. So I wanted to give you a little backstory on why I bought this and why I have this now, and tell you how it helped me during a rather small emergency. But that's the whole idea of prepping. It's not always the big ones. You know, there weren't zombies knocking on my door. There wasn't, nuclear holocaust going off around the world. It was simply my stove blew up. My stove actually caught fire. And of course, I was able to get it out. We had the fire department come, check it out, make sure everything was okay. Basically, one of the burners inside the elements was arcing. So I had no stove for 2 months. I have a home warranty, but with the supply chain shortages and with crew shortages and everything, basically, I had to wait about 2 months to get a new stove. One of the nice parts was my old stove, has a hood right over it, and also, so I can vent the gases, and also has a flat surface. The old one had a flat surface, those flat burners. The new one has the little electric burners. However, if your house is all electric during a power outage, you're kind of stuck because there's no way to cook. And that's why I think something like this with proper ventilation and precautions is a very good option for emergency cooking, even indoors, if you're careful. Let me get rid of the box. I'll give you a little info on the stove itself, okay? Now, I didn't buy this for this. You guys may remember my older stove that I use in the channel often. It was an old Coleman stove I picked up for $8 at Goodwill thrift shop, and it worked very well. I cleaned it up, I repainted it, did a good job on it, and that thing worked great, and it still is working good. But I think it's time for me to pass it on to somebody else who might need it, maybe need a deal on it, and start working with something fresh and new. It wasn't really that it was all that bad. It's that the burners on it were very small compared to this one. Now, this is on sale right now. It's on Walmart. Again, this isn't something I'm making money off of for you guys. I'm going to give you the direct link to Walmart. It's $48. Now, if you look at these stoves normally, even on Amazon, even the cheap ones, the crummy ones, they're in the $60 to $100 range. Some of them are even more expensive than that. Some of them with grills and all that other fancy stuff. Personally, I like something like this because I can stick a grill on top of it and I can use it like that. I don't really need a permanent grill on one side. I like having my options of 2 burners. So really quickly, I'm going to show you the old grill as compared to this one, the old burners as compared to this one. And then we're going to go and test this thing out, and I'll show you how to put it all together. So I think you can see, hopefully you can see, the size of that little, this is going to be interesting to have to do like this, the size of that little burner there, okay, as compared to the size of the new Coleman burners. Now, this is a good stove. It is a Coleman stove. It works perfectly fine, but time to pass it along to somebody else who needs it. And that's a cool little camo job I did on it, and let them enjoy it. It's really, really simple to set this thing up. We're going to get into that in a second. I want to give you a little information on the stove itself. This has up to 20,000 BTUs. It fits a 12-inch or 10-inch fry pan at the same time, so you have a little more room between that too, I noticed. And you have 2 adjustable burners here. Now, the weird thing about these is they actually took a little bit more oomph to turn. I was trying to turn them. I'm like, are these stuck? Because on the other stove, if I barely moved it, I was getting gas out of it. With this one, you kind of have to open it up pretty far to get some gas flow. Now, we're going to hook up gas to it in a second. Now, to use this, all right, basically what you're going to do is unhook the top, okay? That's just a latch. It snaps on there. You're going to fold this out, fold these wind guards open, and stick them in their slots on either side. Pretty simple. I'll do this side for demo here, and we'll do that one before we start cooking. And then you're going to connect your propane adapter, which is right here. Very, very simple to use. These are all over the place in case these break. The stove does come off, the grill does come off for cleaning. Here's another nice feature that the other one didn't have. These come off for cleaning. So if you spill all sorts of stuff under here, you can take these right off and clean underneath. And it will remain fairly clean and well kept. I know some people take these out to the woods, they use them car camping, whatever, and they never clean them, and they look pretty gross. So I like to keep mine at least wiped off and clean. All right? So let's get the gas hooked up to this, give you a little more information on it, and then we're going to make some breakfast with it. And it's that simple. You just push this in here. What I like to do with this is once this is in, I flip it forward and I put my canister down, my propane cylinder, and I just screw it on like that. Now here's what got me. When I first turned this on, the old stove, I used to be able to do like this, and it would be, you'd hear the gas coming out. This one, not so much. You got to turn this one up. There you go. Now, that doesn't mean that it can't simmer. It can go down very, very low. But you can also get one heck of a rolling fire going with it too. So it's that simple really. You're just going to turn it on. One of the nice parts about this is it does have that perfect flow technology to it. So if you have this one up high, this one can go up high too. A lot of folks sometimes, and you'll notice this isn't very loud either. I don't know if the camera's picking it up. It's kind of a directional mic. But one of the nice parts about this is you won't have that issue of, you know, where you have one burner, your main burner here going, and the secondary burner is kind of weak. This has that perfect flow technology where you get both burners at the same time, and you won't have that issue. Perfect heat, I believe they call it, and perfect flow. So it keeps the heat steady on both burners. It also helps out with altitude a bit and with cold. Now, a word of warning about these types of stoves. If you're going to use this in extreme cold, say like freezing or below, you might want to wrap this stuff here, this tube, and that propane cylinder with camo wrap. I have used this when it's really, really cold. Okay, camo tape or anything like that. Even some sports tape if you can find it. Just wrap it up. It comes right off and you can put it back on and reuse it. This usually comes in the battle boxes and crate club type stuff. If it's extremely cold, this will keep it warm enough that it won't freeze up the line. Again, when you're using these at higher altitudes or very, very cold environments, they have a tendency to freeze up. So you do have to be careful about that. So it's very simple to set up. Less than 2 minutes, I had this thing up and going. You can find these canisters almost anywhere. That is another bonus for prepper-minded people. The canisters can be found almost anywhere. They are more expensive, and yes, during times of crisis and emergency, they will disappear first. But you can build up a good stock of them over time, and you will have yourself some more canisters for emergencies. Now, the burn time on this, okay, you get about 1 hour on high with a 16-ounce propane cylinder. Now, I don't use mine on blazing high all the time. So I'm going to say you could probably get about 2 to 3 hours on that, keeping it at a medium heat. So what we're going to do today, I got some coffee on this one here. This is a little N-Camp coffee maker. Basically, you fill it with water, you put your coffee in the little insert there, and the pressure will come up here and come out here. Spits it out off the top. So we're going to try that. The reason I'm trying this is because it's a little bit smaller and I want to see how stable it is. Also, this takes a good deal of heat to work. I remember when I first got this and did it on a wood stove, and I'm like, come on already. It wasn't ever burning, it wasn't ever catching. So it does take a good amount of heat. So I want to see what kind of heat we're getting off this thing. And of course, we're going to be doing our freeze-dried wholesaler eggs, cheese, a sausage. I'm going to mix it all together. I have something new I'm trying today, which is the freeze-dried whole onions. What I like to do with these is kind of crisp them up. I don't hydrate them. I like them dried up, and I'll take them and I kind of sprinkle them in and break them up a little bit and crisp them up, get them a little brown. Then I can put the rest of my stuff in. And that's what we're going to be doing using my little titanium pan here. So again, we're not going to be doing anything on super, super high heat, but we are going to be testing it out and seeing how it works. So let me get it lighted, let me get it going, and we'll see how breakfast comes out on its first burn off. So we got it going. I got a little bacon grease in here that I'm using up. Always save your bacon grease. Very, very good lubricant for your pans. That is a little bit on the high side, so we're going to turn that down a little bit. There we go. So the first thing I'm going to do is put in my sausages and stuff and my onions, kind of let them hydrate up. This is what I do with the onions normally. I just kind of crunch them up like that. I have it more to give it a flavor, and you see it starts to crisp up a little bit. This is going, by the way. So this thing really does kick butt. It's starting to fire up in there. Okay, there we go. I'm going to put these in. And you do have that nice little area in the middle here, so if you don't want to have the heat burning all the time, so I don't burn the heck out of that, you can move it away a little bit and it's a little bit easier. So I'll bring you back when the coffee's going. We got breakfast on the go here, and we will get this all set up for you and try it out, just so you can see how this works. So it's definitely got my coffee going. And my breakfast is all ready over there, so I'm pretty much done. So let me have a little breakfast and clean this up, and we'll finish up the video, and I'll tell you a little bit more about this and why I think it's a really good deal right now. So what do I think? Well, gotta say, for its first run, really impressed. Did the coffee really quickly. Came out awesome. This is more of like an espresso maker. But if you use a little bit of coffee, you don't pile that little insert in there up to the top, you'll get regular tasting coffee. And it actually comes out really good. Now, the product dimensions on this, that's not going to fit there. The product dimensions on this is about 21 inches long, 12 inches wide, and 3.2 inches thick. Really lightweight at 12 pounds. I mean, not going to be something you backpack, but for car camping or for even use around the house during emergencies, this thing is awesome. I mean, it's very good. Now, again, you're going to want to be using this in a well-ventilated area. You don't want to be using this inside your little tiny studio with all your windows closed and, of course, just common sense. I use it here. I have very high ceilings in my place. I have a door literally right by the kitchen that I can open up for ventilation if I want cross ventilation. And I also have not only a CO detector, but multiple carbon monoxide alarms in my house. So I'm not really worried about that. I think it's going to be just fine. And I do think it's a good deal for $48. Walmart had a special on it recently, and they've been running this. These are in stores as well as orderable online, but your store may vary. So go to the website or go to Brickseek and see if it's in your store. I know sometimes they'll give you a deal if you get it picked up. If you order it and you have it picked up at your car. So sometimes they'll give you a deal with that. It's all up to you. But I really like it. I mean, I'm very pleased with it. I think it's an adequate replacement for the older guy that's going to move on to somebody else who needs it a little more than I do. I have a few of these types of stoves, and I think this one's a real winner. I definitely do. Anyway, folks, I will give you the link down below for Walmart where you can pick this up for $48. Don't forget to check out all our other links. I have my Amazon affiliate store. This is not available in Amazon. I even looked for it so I could give you the option of getting it on Amazon. They do have it listed, but they don't have a price or anything. It's like it's out of stock. So Walmart is definitely a place to go. But if you don't see anything in my Amazon store that you like, just click the link and shop as you normally would. Really helps us out. Don't forget our freeze-dried wholesaler link. That's what we made breakfast with today. That's the freeze-dried sausage, cheese, eggs, and the onion all in there. Really good stuff. Really tasty. Very easy to hydrate and use. My link will save you 15% on it. So don't forget that link. If you're interested in getting stocked up on some food, and that is this, by the way, doing that noise. Definitely a good way to do it. 25-year shelf life. Comes in a bag like this. That's the chicken breakfast sausage we made this morning. And it's really good stuff. Very easy to use, not complicated at all, and very pure. There's nothing funny in this stuff. I mean, when you look at the ingredients on this, it's chicken, water, salt, spices, and that's it. That's it. So very basic, very good food to use. If you're interested in getting stocked up a little bit larger or trying out some other gear, my Patriot Supply link is preparewithiridium.com. I have a 4-week kit for $50 off and a 3-month kit for $200 off, but there's a ton more of other stuff on that site. So don't get fixated on those. If you go there and you don't want those kits, click on one of the links to see what else they have, and it will take you to the My Patriot Supply store, and you'll be able to see a ton of other stuff that I have listed on the site. That's preparewithiridium.com. And don't forget our Thrive Life freeze-dried food store as well if you're interested in trying out some Thrive food. Anyway, folks, definitely time to get stocked up on stuff. Get your house in order, get your stuff ready, because there's been power failures, there's been grid failures all over the country. We're definitely looking at some grim situations coming up in the future, and I want to make sure that everybody watching this channel at least has an alternative way to cook. Thank you for watching. Stay safe and stay prepared.